But in the name of science!
Okay, you guys requested it, so I'm gonna do it. I'm charging the battery now. Unfortunately, that Hubsan X4 Pro battery has been fully charged for 6 months and it's bloated as well. I just took it out of the drone. Unfortunately, it was a little fat and very hard to get out, so I'm gonna give it a full charge. And then somebody said, well, I don't know if I trust those Lipo bags. Let's see what happens. Well, if you guys watched my last video where I was showing what happens when you poke or stab a Lipo battery, this is a 7,000 mAh 11.1 at 25C, and we're going to shove that inside this HRB Lipo guard bag. I'm going to zip it shut. We're going to put it down here. I'm going to take my utility knife, and I'm going to go ahead and stab right into the battery, and then we'll sit back and watch what happens to a Lipo bag when a battery actually goes off inside of it. So Sean, you were asking if I need another Hubsan X4 Pro battery. I do, sir. That one's in pretty bad shape. The other one on the shelf, however, is doing just fine. It's not bloated. It's still a square. So this one is A-OK. That's the one we flew that day. So no bloating on that one. However, this one is in rough shape. So let's take this outside. I'm going to let this charge finish. I have it cranking in 2 amps right now. A 2 amp cranking point, so should be done here in the next 15 minutes. We're going to take it outside, give it a stab, and see what happens to the Lipo bag when a battery goes off inside of it. Alright, see you guys out there. As my beautiful girlfriend sits over there in weed wax, we are going to test the theory. Sorry, Sean, but this battery's toasty toast. It's bloated and pudgy. So I've got this HRB Lipo bag. I've got this wonderful utility knife, and I figured, heck, this is a 11.1 volt battery, 3S. I just finished charging it. We're gonna drop it inside of here for science sake, and we're gonna close it off and see if we can even puncture this thing while it's inside of here. But I'm gonna go ahead and put a piece of particle board down there on the ground so you guys can see what happens to a battery while it's inside of this, and we're gonna see how hot it gets the concrete, or in this case the particle board, because last time I lit one of these on pure concrete, it got the concrete so hot it sizzled water. So let's see what happens if I set this down and we puncture it. Make sure I got a good lock on it. Shouldn't be too much air left in there. That's kind of the idea of these Lipo bags. I got a good spot. 3, 2, 1. There she goes. Let me back up here. Oh, this is interesting stuff. So far, there's no fire. There's no oxygen able to get to it right now, so it hasn't started a fire, but it's definitely smoking pretty good. Oh, now see, that's interesting. There we go. There goes cell number 2. Cell number 2 just went off. Cell number 2 is finishing. Cell number 3 should start here in a second. So there is a massive difference so far, because if that had not been inside the Lipo bag, it would have immediately gone up. That's cell number 3 going off right there. Still no flames that I can physically see. Interesting stuff here. Oh, okay. Starting to melt a little bit, babe.
The bag is?
Yeah, the Lipo bag is. Okay. But still, no fire has escaped yet. All right. Oh boy. It's starting to open up. No flames quite yet. Am I seeing flames here? Nope, just a lot of smoke. Oh boy.
Looks like it's burning through.
It might be burning through. It definitely burned through the top, but I don't know if it made it through the fireproof layer. That's what we're gonna have to check. So when this burns out all the way, we're gonna have to see if it made it through the fireproof layer. It may have melted the out. I punctured it with a knife.
Through the bag?
Yeah. Which is right where it's opened at the top there, so that could have been the puncture mark I had to make. But I don't know, guys. It doesn't look like it made it through the fireproof material yet. It just looks like it's singeing the outside of the bag. Now it's pretty much done, I think. I'm gonna let it sit here a little bit longer and I'll keep monitoring it and see if anything else happens, but as of right now I think that was all it's gonna do. It's just really hot right now sitting inside the Lipo bag, so I think I'm gonna let it burn down and see exactly what it does to that wood underneath that particle board. So it's definitely been smoldering for a good minute here, guys, but if we get closer, it burned a hole through the back of the bag, but I don't think it made it through the fireproof material. Once again, it got hot, but I don't think it made it through. And as you can see, the particle board did brown out on the bottom, so it definitely was getting hot underneath. You can see smoke rolling out from the bottom. And but no open flame still. Hey guys, I'm fairly certain it's done the damage it's going to do. I don't see it browning the outside anymore. Even though it's smoldering, I'm fairly certain it's done for. The zipper melted, introducing oxygen to the front of it, so if it was going to open flame, it would have already done it. So we're going to go ahead and douse it. There she goes. Whew. A lot of heat coming out of there. Oh yeah. Lots of heat coming out of there. It turned it into a kiln, or a furnace I should say. It definitely turned it into a bit of a furnace. I can feel some serious heat coming out of there now. Alright, I managed to put the majority of it out here. I'm going to go ahead and lift up the battery bag and see if we can find out what happened to the particle board underneath. Oh boy, it's like stuck to it here. Oh. Alright, well, it burned all the plastic to it. There you go. Definitely burned the plastic to it. Let me peel this off and then we'll have a better look at it. So there you go. That's what it looks like. It definitely got hot enough to damage things. I've put it out with water now. You can see inside of this. I don't think there's any opening this again unless I cut it open with the utility knife, which I'm about to do here. I was just making sure it was cooled off enough. This has become like a rock at this point. This is very solid, but as you can see, it didn't make it through the fireproof material on the bottom here. And the only reason this opened up was because the zipper melted. That's how hot it got. But no open flame the entire time. That was all battery heat. So this could potentially save your house, I guess. You would probably be replacing a damaged floor, most likely, because of where this sat. But I think it's better to have this kind of insurance, even if it's only a 50% chance that it'll stop a fire. It's still better than not having it, because if you don't have it, that would have been a bursting battery that would have been pretty serious. So this still maintained heat for a long period of time, but I don't think it ever reached open flame. So do Lipo bags help? This was a cheap $5 Lipo HRB bag on eBay, and obviously it made a bit of a difference. If you have ever seen a regular Lipo battery punctured without being in an oxygen detained environment, the idea is to keep the oxygen away from it so that it can't burst into flames, and this obviously did what it was meant to do. Now, the fact that this melted means I probably wouldn't spend a cheap amount on a Lipo bag again, because the zipper was made of aluminum, it looks like, or maybe even plastic, and it just melted right through. And obviously you want aluminum or something like that. This whole area melted. So you probably want to buy a little more expensive Lipo bag than a $5 one. But did it help? I'm going to say it did. Drone Worship approved. Are there better methods for protecting your house and your batteries? Yes. Ammo cases that aren't sealed, because obviously they'll become a pipe bomb. But ammo cases are definitely a good way to go. More expensive LiPo bags, probably better route. This is probably a 50-50 chance LiPo bag here that it's going to help or it's not. But in this scenario, it definitely did. So, DW approved. All right, guys, Drone Worship from somewhere in beautiful Tampa, Florida. I'll catch you guys on the flip, man. Toodie-roo.